Today we have the pleasure and honor of introducing you to Bosco, who will give us a personal tour of his splendid winter greenhouse here in Falls Village. Bosco was born in Hungary over 80 years ago and lost almost everything as a boy. Seeking a better life, he immigrated to America with his father when he was 13, and they were eventually reunited here with Bosco's mother and two sisters. Bosco worked for the famous Reader's Digest magazine for 44 years, from 1962 to 1996, and had become an editor. In the year 2000, he married Paige Dickey, noted author of books and articles about outdoor gardening. Together, they share 14 grandchildren. Bosco and Paige were looking to downsize, so they purchased this house in Falls Village that had been a Methodist church beginning in the 1700s.
Potting shed is in here, so all my tools and pots and soil and all that's in here. And that is rainwater.
This is rainwater.
All that is rainwater. I have 420 gallons of rainwater. That's what I use to water plants with. Because we have very hard water here, we use water softener. And water softener works with salt, and plants don't like salt. So rainwater is the best way to feed them, if you will. And then these are fig trees that I keep in here in the winter. Here it's about 50 degrees, 45, 50 degrees. And then when it's all danger frost is over, then I take them outside and they come back to life.
You just leave them in the pots?
I leave them in the pots. I water them once a month, just to keep them humid, and then they leaf out. All right, so here is the greenhouse. You want to go ahead? Okay, folks, you step down. I love to propagate plants. That's one of my favorite hobbies. Unfortunately, it creates too many plants, so I've got so many plants, I don't know what to do. But this is where some of the babies are. Start them out, and eventually I move them over there. These are pelargoniums, geraniums mostly. In fact, all of them are. And then, so I have sort of my four main plant types are pelargoniums, which are geraniums, but they should be called pelargonium, of different kinds. Rhizomatous begonias. Then I have some oxalis, I have some bulbs, things that I fall in love with. But my main emphasis is on pelargoniums and begonias. And this, for example, is a begonia, and it doesn't look like it, but it is. Usually when you have different types of plants, they each require a certain growing condition. Some like it cool, some like it warm, some like it dry, some like it warm. My greenhouse is too small, it's only 16 by 12 feet, and so one size fits all. They just have to like it. But there is the sunny side and there's the less sunny side. So this is north facing, this is the less sunny side. Begonias don't like too much sun, so I have them over here. They are not plants that you keep particularly for their flowers. It is for their leaves. The leaves have very pretty coloration. like this, for example. This one here is a Rex begonia. You see the beautiful pattern of the leaves?
Oh, yeah.
And this has actually come from Falls Village because somebody gave it to me who bred it in Falls Village, so it's very special. Most plants that I have are given to me. You know, plant people exchange plants. So this is given to me. This is also flowering. I mean, it's almost over. The flowering. That's another kind of begonia. And these are all begonias up to about here. You see the flowers. It's almost over. This is also begonia. These are begonias. And then we get into things that I sort of like. This is a wonderful plant. It's called Queen's Tears. Bilbergia. It requires almost no care. Just put it off in a corner, keep it watered a little bit, and then in February all of a sudden disappears. Right? I love it. And there's another one. There's another one. Anyway, there. This should be over here. This is the same plant family. You wouldn't think it, but it is. This is a plant called Plectranthus that I like very much, in the mint family. And the nice thing about it is that it blooms in October. So you can have it out in the garden, and when everything else is finished, this blooms. Blue spikes. This is a jasmine. Jasmines like it cool and sunny. I have sunny, but I don't have cool. So it doesn't bloom as splendidly as it should, but it does bloom. This is called false shamrock because it's not in the shamrock family, it's another family, but it's very pretty. It's got pretty leaves, and down there you see have one that's got flowers. These are, well, this one here. See, this one. Yeah, false shamrock. And then this is called frizzle sizzle because of the leaves, the way they curl. And there's the flower. They all bloom, all those little buds bloom. Frizzle sizzle. I like it very much. And then this is a little bulb that blooms. I only have this one calamondine orange. Very tiny little oranges. You can see a couple of them here. It's now just beginning to bloom, and it'll give more oranges probably until August. And it makes wonderful jam, but it's very time consuming. But here, I have all my succulents, cactus family. They love sun. They don't like a lot of water. And I like them because of their shape, because they're sculptural. This is a fun one. This is called, I think, Buddha's temple. And it gets little tiny white flowers at the end. This is also a cactus. It's called mistletoe cactus. And it gets tiny white flowers covered with them at the ends. It's fun. It's just something that's unusual. I like it a lot. And then we get over here, and I have my pelargoniums, geranium pelargonium, different kinds, because there are zonal pelargoniums that have just flowers, and good flowers, like this one. This is one called tulip, which is I just love it. It just blooms all the time. And then we have others which are scented. And they're scented. It doesn't look like anything, but all these you touch them and they smell of lemon. So there are different kinds of scented. This is a scented. All pelargoniums come from South Africa. And these supposedly, this and several others, became scented to discourage grazing animals from eating the leaves because they didn't like the smell. So anyway, that's a scented geranium. But these are zonal geraniums. Now the secret of geraniums, one of them is always take off the flowers that have bloomed because that makes them bloom more. So I just throw that away. So these are regular. These are something called ivy geranium, which is like an ivy. This is called Swiss balcony because it reminds people of the chalets in Switzerland that all have these boxes of geraniums, and this is one of them. And this is one called peppermint geranium. I mean, you just rub the leaf, and it's just like smelling, I don't know, lifesavers or whatever, because it's so strong. It's so strong of peppermint. This is now some of these have much smaller, uninteresting flowers, but they're mostly for the foliage. This is a regular zonal one. Now here we have, these are all different kinds of geraniums. This is a scented one also. And here's some of my babies, my adolescents growing up. This is a zonal geranium, and it's called platinum. It's a single salmon-colored flower. It just blooms all the time, all through the winter. I love it. I love it. This is why it's here, because it just keeps color coming back all the time. And then but this is another, you wouldn't think it, but this is another scented geranium, apple. And I mean, literally, you smell it. This is not just a leaf, just the whole plant smells of apple. It's wonderful. I think it's beautiful. The one behind it, this one here is called gooseberry. And it says, and it's perfectly true, uses of these geraniums, the scented geraniums: fruit salad, teas, punch, jellies, potpourri. So you can actually use these for cooking. And I have made apple jelly and flavored them with this, and it's very good. And names of these plants are funny because they all have a botanical name, which is usually Latin. And then there are sort of names that people invent, nursery people invent. They love inventing names. And they change them all the time. I mean, they're just one little crinkle in the leaf can give it a different name. It's very complicated to register them, but you can. So this one, for example, is called Mrs. Cox. But it's also listed as Mr. Cox. And then also another variety with just a tiny little bit more black here. It's called Mrs. Pollock. So figure out which one you have. It's not easy. You really have to have a microscope to tell you which one you have. But look at some of the colorations also. This is a scented geranium. It's called Charity. And maybe if I lower it down, you see the difference between the two greens? Yeah. So it's very pretty. And then this is a huge rose scented geranium, which lives outside in the summer. And again, it just smells wonderful. So that is my what I call my playpen. My playpen. I have to say that there is no real practical purpose for this greenhouse. I don't grow vegetables. I don't grow seeds. I do it because I like it, because I like the aesthetic of it. I like the plants. I like the way the plants look. And as I say, I like to propagate them. So it's a hobby greenhouse. In the summertime, all these plants go outside. Everything goes outside. And then I lock it up and keep it locked up hot. Turn off all the venting, everything, and that kills off any bugs that are still surviving in the greenhouse. Bakes them, basically. We had a greenhouse in my previous, where we lived previously in Westchester County, and it was a wonderful one. And when we moved, I said, we're not going to have a greenhouse anymore. It's just too much work. I don't want to do it. When we moved here, I had all these pots, kept moving them from windowsill to windowsill to windowsill. And finally said, no, I want a greenhouse. So we got in touch with this company in Ohio, and they make these greenhouses, different sizes. It all comes disassembled, numbered. You see some of the numbers. And Bill DeVries, who used to have a building company in Ashley Falls, he's retired. He put it together. He spent 2 months putting it together, putting all those screws in together, and so here it is.
Good. Thank you, Bosco.
You're very welcome.